Afternoon, guys. It's working, bringing you a quick update on Bitcoin. Hope you guys are having a wonderful afternoon. We're looking at Bitcoin to the US dollar 4-hour chart on Bitfinex, guys. And I apologize I didn't give you guys an update yesterday. We were out shopping for cars for my oldest nephew. He's going off to college, and anyway, guys, so it was just kind of a busy day for everybody. But I'm back at it today, guys, and I don't want to leave you hanging from last time, guys. Last time we spoke, which was day before yesterday, price was operating within this larger wedge. I was explaining to you guys the trade positions that I had taken out. I told you that I was playing both sides of the market, expecting a major breakout in one direction or another. I expected it actually to happen yesterday. I didn't expect it to happen so late in the day. I expected it to happen earlier than it did, guys, but nonetheless, obviously, it did end up happening. The way I played this, guys, and please let me know if this bores you. If you don't want me to talk about my trading strategies or anything, guys, let me know if you just want me to get to the technical analysis. I know some people like it, some people don't, so please let me know in the comment sections below whether or not you want me to talk about my trading strategies. If you don't, I'll just get to the analysis, but I know it helps a lot of people, especially new traders, into the market. So what I did was, for guys that missed it, or for guys just to recap, I had gone short on this candle here. I didn't catch the top of this candle, guys, but I saw it trading within this range. I knew we were establishing a wedge pattern, and so I went ahead and went short. I think I caught it. Let me look up my exact price. As I told you guys last time, yeah, I went short at 63.95. Okay, and then fast forward, price continued to operate. I saw that it created a series of higher lows, was operating within another wedge, breaking out of this wedge here. I realized that there was a good chance price could possibly break to the upside, knowing that that could happen in another direction as it came into this wedge. So I decided to play both sides of the market, guys. So I put a buy order down here at the bottom of this ascending support line, hoping that it would get filled. Sure enough, candle came down, this red candle here. It filled it, and my buy order got filled at 62.19. So I was in a short from 63.95 and a long from 62.19, and price was operating within this wedge when this happened. And this is what I told you guys last time. This candle here, very unusual looking doji candle, was a pure stop hunt, pure manipulations, trying to stop out both long and short positions. And I told you guys that I had placed my stop loss just above this wick, knowing that they might go stop hunting. And so this is what saved me from this stop hunt. From my long position, I had placed my stop just below this wick. I had placed my stop at 61.51, and knowing that they might go stop hunting, and knowing that they would probably bring it down to the wick, and that's exactly what happened. So this saved me from being a victim of another stop hunt. I explained that to you guys last time, but let me explain to you what happened going forward. I told you guys that we were operating in this candle here when we spoke last, and I told you guys I was going to tighten my stop losses because more than likely I thought the manipulation might be over and the next breakout would happen. That was my first mistake. I should not have thought that. I shouldn't have assumed that that was going to be the trap, and that the next one was going to be the actual break. So what did happen, guys? Price ended up breaking up. I was hoping that we were going to crash through this 6540 resistance line. It broke up. We got a massive rejection. Of course, it hit my stop loss for my short position, so my short got shorted out. However, I did tighten my stop loss on my short position. I tightened my stop loss on my short to 6,300. So either way, I would have made a profit. So as soon as it came up to here and we hit 6,300, I got stopped out, guys. I was still in profit because remember I went short at 63.95. So I played a small position. I think I played 3 Bitcoin in either direction. So I made like what was it, like 300, 250 bucks, something like that. But not the play that I wanted, obviously. So again, price came up. My short position got liquidated. I was hoping for my long position. We got a rejection. Came up again, strong rejection. At that point, I should have got out of my long position, guys, because at that point, after I had this double top rejection, and the candle was just sitting here, just telling me, get out of your position. It's not doing what you're hoping that it's going to do. And I didn't. I held on to my position, guys, because I just got greedy. I wanted to see price crash above that, because I told you if we crashed above 65.40, I knew that there was a very high probability we were going to come up to at least 70,000, possibly 6,900. So I got greedy. So I kept my position open, guys. Of course, price just crashed right down. Had another chance to close my position. I didn't, and I went ahead and I got I tightened my stop. So my stop was now at for my long position position, my stop was no longer to the 6151. I set my stop at 6250. So I knew I was going to be in profit either way, guys, but it wasn't nearly the profit that I was hoping for. I could have made a lot more profit, I should say, on my long up here. I got stopped out in this direction. And what I should have done, guys, what I should have done with my short position and why I didn't set my stop higher on my short position, two reasons. I should never have let this affect my decision to set my stop. But I also, even if I hadn't, I still would have gotten stopped out because this wick came up higher than this wick. What I should have been acknowledging was this prior structure. I didn't even look at this prior wedge here that was within this larger wedge. I kind of just didn't acknowledge it because I viewed this as, okay, that wedge is broken out of, that's no longer relevant, not realizing that, idiotically, on my part, this was all part of a larger, bigger wedge. So I should have acknowledged that. I should have at least put my stop above this candle that was on top of this resistance line, knowing that that's probably, if they created a bull trap, that's where they would have put it. That's where they would have put my stop. So I should have put my stop just above this wick, above this resistance, and I didn't do that. Had I done that, I would have still been in my short position, guys, and I could have capitalized on all of this, and I didn't. And that was a mistake on my part, guys. So just when you're, make sure if you're operating within a wedge like this next time, which I play wedges all the time. That's probably my most successful trading strategy, is playing both sides in a wedge like this. But make sure if you're doing a double wedge like this, you acknowledge where the resistance line is and acknowledge all the way back where that prior wick was in relevance to if there is a resistance line. So anyway, guys, just a quick I wanted just to give you kind of my strategy and how I could have made. Again, I didn't lose any money. I made a little bit of money on both sides, guys. A few $100s, but it wasn't nearly what I could have made had I just been a little smarter in my trading strategy. Okay, guys, so moving forward, I told you guys last time if price did end up breaking down, it would very, very likely crash through this 6100 support. I told you that because it had been tested here many, many, many times back here on the 4-hour, guys, so that we knew that this support had been weakened greatly. So, and sure enough, as soon as it came down, didn't even acknowledge it, just crashed right through this support. And what I tell you on my last update, I told you if it crashed through 6100 in the last video, that it would more than likely come down and test at least the top of this 5850 support, at least 5900, but it'll probably the top of this 5850 support. What happened? Price came down, didn't quite reach it there, guys, but pretty damn close. Came up, and the low on Bitfinex was 5866. So it just basically tested the top of this support zone between 5850 and 5700. We did get a rejection, sideways movement. Price broke up, attempted to break above decisively this 6100, wicked right above it, and then was rejected quickly. And here we stand. So, guys, this is where are we going from here? This is a no trade zone for me. I'm not seeing any real trade setups. If you were going to buy the bottom here, guys, you should have done it already and already played this rejection. So, in my opinion, guys, even if it comes back down, there's a good likelihood that it might crash through this, guys. Doesn't mean it has to. We could get a double bottom pattern. We could have it come back down, double bottom off this prior low at 58.66 and come right back up. That's very possible, but in my opinion, it's just not worth the risk. In my opinion, there's a good chance it might come back down, might break below, and we come down to the bottom of this at least 5,700 support zone. There's a good chance, guys, if we do break this prior low on Bitfinex, the prior low is sitting around 57.50. If we do break that prior low of 57.50, guys, there's a very good probability that we're going to break down to possibly as low as 5,600. If I come out here and zoom out to the big picture, guys, you guys know my big picture count, and I'm considering this bullish because I do believe once this E-wave finishes, we're going to have a massive impulse wave up. I do believe that's more than likely. So I'm calling this my bullish count, even though there is still more room for downside. Looking at the support zone, guys, on my larger support, I know over here on my smaller position, I've got it marked at 5,700, and on the daily, on the 4-hour, that is kind of the smaller support. That is where the major demand zone is. But big picture, guys, if we look at the overall big picture, we can see there is a relevant demand zone on the weekly back here that goes as low as 5450. So, I do believe there's a good chance that we'll bounce off the bottom of that zone, possibly 5500, which is a good psychological number, possibly as low as 5450. Making sure that I do keep in mind that we do have this kind of falling wedge pattern here, which a falling wedge pattern is bullish, guys. In fact, I can pull it up and show it to you on here in case you're not familiar. Where we got here? yeah, falling wedge pattern, whether it's coming from an uptrend or a downtrend, is a bullish pattern. You can see it here. You can see it here, guys. So anytime you see a falling wedge pattern, guys, that is a relatively bullish pattern. We're kind of having that now, and I wouldn't be surprised to see price come down, respect these prior resistance where it's tapped off twice, tapped the third time, and then come right back up. And if it does end up coming down that low, assuming that this is correct, this descending support is correct, it may possibly come down as low as somewhere sitting around 5,400, possibly even a low, depending on how extended this gets. You know, obviously it come down much lower than that. But we'll have to wait and see how it plays out. If this 5,450 does break, if this support zone does break, guys, I do think there's a good probability that it's going to drop to at least 4,600. I'm not saying that's going to happen. I'm not trying to spread any FOMO. Or excuse me, any FUD at all. I just think there's not a lot of support between 5,450 and 4,600, guys. Just not a lot of support. Doesn't mean that is going to happen. Just means that, you know, just file that in the back of your head. If 5,450 breaks, there's a good chance that there's a reasonable chance, I should say. I won't even say good. I'll say reasonable chance that 4,600 will come into play. If it does come down into this 46 to 4,400 zone, in my opinion, I'll be stacking buy orders without question. Without question. So coming back into this zone, guys, again, where all eyes are going to be to see if this 5,850 to 5,700 support can hold. I think there's a very high probability, unless we get above this 6,100 very soon, there's a very high probability we're going to come back down and test it again. To the upside, guys, I'm watching this 6,280 support, or excuse me, what was support will act as resistance, and it's acted as support and resistance quite a lot here in the past. It's kind of snaked around this 6280 support zone, and if I go from this prior swing high to swing low, I'll show you why else that's a very relevant zone. If we go swing high, swing low from this support, or excuse me, from this latest drop, what do we have? This the 618 fib level literally is literally right on top of, almost to the dollar, of this 6280 resistance now. What was support will now be resistance. So I wouldn't be surprised to see price come up, test this zone. If we can get north of 6280, I'll start to believe that the bulls have some fight left in them, and the next point to take out will be this resistance here at 6540. It's been tested multiple times. Just like this support was tested multiple times, guys, this resistance has been tested multiple times. Anytime it gets tested multiple times, guys, every time it gets tested, it gets weakened. So I wouldn't be surprised if price does end up making this high, and I wouldn't be surprised to see it crash right through this resistance 5450 if it does get there. Even if that does happen, though, guys, that doesn't mean that we're off to the races by any means, guys. I think more than likely, if that does happen, we might come up here and test 69 to 7,000, possibly even 7,100 resistance, guys, but I still think there's a good chance that we're going to come back down and there is some more downside. So I'm not going to start believing that we've seen the bottom until we get a very strong rejection off of either 5,700, or if that does break down, guys, possibly coming down and testing this bottom of 5,450, between 5,700 and 5,450. Once we get into that zone, then I'll start thinking that the bottom might be in, possibly. And then I'll start thinking about dollar cost average again. Until then, guys, I'm just going to be doing very small scalp trades as I did here. Nothing long. I'm not entering any long positions, guys. I'm not entering any shorts either. I'm just waiting for price to come to me. If price does end up coming back here at 7,000, I might short it again, guys. No, depending on how impulsive it looks. If it looks very impulsive, we get a lot of volume coming through, then I won't. If it's a nice weak kind of rise up there, guys, then more than likely I'll end up shorting it. So we'll just have to wait and see what the characteristic of the rise is. But anyway, guys, if we come in here, we look at our moving averages, we can see price got a very strong rejection on the 4-hour. We got a very strong rejection off the 8-day EMA. So again, very, very bearish, hanging out at the bottom of the Bollinger Bands. Coming out here to the daily, guys, you can see once again daily tested the 8-day EMA on the daily, strong rejection. Clearly it's a very bearish looking candle, guys, so just not looking great. What's interesting though, if we come in here, we look at long positions. Long positions are clearly getting liquidated, did get liquidated big time, guys. We're not seeing a lot of people dollar cost average in. We're seeing longs stay relatively flat. I think people are kind of just waiting to see what happens here in the market. But if we come here and we check short positions, guys, shorts are just stacking at an incredible rate. We had a little bit of a correction here, guys, which I told you in the last update, guys, this small correction that we saw here was a healthy correction, and I don't want to see a healthy correction on shorts, guys, because I'm a bull at heart. and I want to see this market do well. I told you because we had this healthy correction on shorts and it wasn't just a crash of shorts, that very, very likely shorts were going to stack again. Because that was a healthy correction, we're going to see short stack again. Sure enough, guys, what did we see? We're seeing short stack again. We're seeing price crash. So, once again, guys, that's not. I wish I hadn't seen that, but that did happen, and that was a good indication that price was going to go down. And that's exactly what happened. Now we've got short stacking again. I wouldn't be surprised to see the market makers run the price up to liquidate these shorts and then bring the price right back down. So we have to wait and see what happens, guys. But these are my quick thoughts on Bitcoin. If you have any comments, questions, suggestions, please let me know in the comments section below. As always, guys, I certainly would appreciate an upvote or a resteem or a like, depending on where you're viewing this. And until next time, guys, please trade safe. This is Working, signing out.